Imagine a massive explosion, millions of miles away, so powerful it could disrupt entire satellite networks on Earth. We're talking about solar flares. These guys are sudden, rapid, and intense variations in brightness that occur on the sun's surface, lighting up the solar atmosphere. Solar flares are born out of the sun's magnetic energy. Picture this. The sun's magnetic field lines twist and turn with the movement of the sun's plasma. Over time, this creates a sort of magnetic knot. It's like when you twirl a rubber band around your finger too many times and suddenly it snaps. That's basically a solar flare, a sudden release of all that built-up energy, snapping and bursting out into the solar system. But how powerful are these solar flares, really? Well, to give you some perspective, a single solar flare can release energy equivalent to millions of 100 megaton hydrogen bombs exploding at the same time. And all that energy is released in a matter of just a few minutes. These flares aren't just visually impressive. They're also packed full of high-energy particles and radiation. When a solar flare bursts out from the sun, it hurls a sea of electrons, protons, and heavier ions right into space. These particles can reach the Earth in just 8 minutes, the same time it takes for sunlight to reach us. So solar flares are basically massive explosions on the sun, releasing pent-up energy in a brilliant, powerful display. So we've established that solar flares are pretty powerful. But what happens when they reach Earth? Firstly, let's talk about technology. Most of the modern world is connected through satellites orbiting our planet. These satellites are vulnerable to the intense electromagnetic radiation produced by solar flares. When a solar flare hits, it can cause these satellites to malfunction or even completely fail. This can disrupt everything from GPS navigation to telecommunications systems. The power grids that keep our lights on and our appliances running are also at risk. The electromagnetic radiation from a solar flare can induce currents in these power lines, potentially overloading them and causing widespread blackouts. In fact, back in 1989, a solar flare caused a massive power outage in Quebec, leaving 6 million people without electricity for 9 hours. And just recently, on May 10th, Starlink's satellites took a hit, but they held up just fine afterwards. But what about astronauts in space, on board the ISS? The high-energy particles emitted by solar flares can penetrate the thin walls of spacecrafts, potentially exposing astronauts to harmful levels of radiation. This is a major concern for space agencies, and it's one of the reasons why predicting solar flares is so important. Lastly, solar flares can also have a more visible impact on our planet. The charged particles they emit can interact with Earth's magnetic field, creating beautiful displays known as the northern and southern lights. While they're stunning to look at, these lights are actually a sign of potentially damaging solar activity. So, yeah, solar flares are not just beautiful astronomical phenomena. They're powerful, potentially dangerous, and a fascinating area of ongoing scientific study. Do you think we'll be able to fend off solar flares in the future? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you liked this video, then please can you do me a favor and subscribe? It helps the channel more than you know. The bigger the channel gets, the more interesting things we'll cover as we go along. Thanks. And until next time.